I got out of the car in Ormond Beach with less than a minute to spare. FEC Extra number 900 was making good time from Jacksonville, and I pulled off at the perfect crossing to intercept the train. At the time of filming, 900 was a Sunday road local from Jacksonville to New Smyrna and back, but it hadn't worked any industries all morning. That changed here in Ormond, where pure luck put me right on scene as the crew began the process of dropping 27 of their 29 cars bound for Halifax Paving housed on the adjacent spur. Thankfully for the FEC, Halifax Paving was providing asphalt to the FDOT and their massive expansion of the Orlando Beltway. As with any state-sponsored construction project, it was a large undertaking, so much so that the Sunday Extra was called into service. Growing up around Ormond Beach, this particular spur had always interested me, but I'd never once seen it in action. The chips fell into place nicely today as I got the long-sought-after 900 squeezing down the elusive Halifax spur, steadily getting overtaken by Mother Nature. I've never been a signal geek, I don't get wound up about sun angles, and I certainly couldn't tell you what type of air horn the 501 is rocking. What I do enjoy, however, is watching trains roll over tracks haphazardly buried in the ground, and the Halifax Spur was the perfect place for me as I watched the two bay hoppers roll through the weeds and the gravel. I've seen these Southern Railway open hoppers on quite a number of FEC trains and have never been able to find out which industry they seem to be assigned to. Now I can rest assured. After completing the drop, GP38-2 number 501 and GP40-2 number 413 tiptoed their two center beams off the industrial spur. I wanted so badly to pace the attractive pair with my drone, but the daily thunderstorm was giving me my doubts. Siding with my better judgment, I was still quite happy to see the EMD-powered Extra working my hometown stretch of the FEC. The conductor had to reset the derail, affording us just enough time to jump ahead to downtown Ormond. This was an awesome scene as the two retro blue Jeeps highballed through the marshy forest and towards New Smyrna. As 900 continued southwards, I made my way to the beach to enjoy a couple hours on the water, or at least looking at the water. Conditions weren't exactly ideal. Despite the storms, I was interested to see what the power would be like on the northbound run of 900, so we braved the downpours to find out. Luckily, the rain had let up a little by the time the train was upon us, as we watched from a dirt road crossing along the Harwood Pass track just north of Ormond. After apparently dropping the 413 in New Smyrna, that left the 501 to be wide and used as the sole power for the return trip of 900. The single GP38 sounded awesome, and I couldn't resist one more roll-by near DuPont. What always intrigues me is how the FEC operates their busy main line. The railroad has about 14 daily road trains up and down the East Coast, an impressive number for such a concentrated regional railroad. At such a capacity, one would expect to find powerful lineups on the head end of any freight, but not the FEC. Exhibit A was Extra Road Local 900, consisting of 75 mixed cars. The FEC is just about the only place I can think of where such a consist is led by a single Jeep, one of many reasons it's on my list of favorite railroads. While the gleaming GEVOs have certainly become the face of the FEC, it's clear that the EMDs still provide valuable service to the company by taking care of oddball but nonetheless necessary tasks. A couple weeks later, I was in the right place at the right time at the railroad's New Smyrna shops. Timing was on my side for a change, as I had just thrown down my tripod when a slew of engines was being put on the ready track by a shop crew. This was all happening as 905 was departing the yard, making for a symphony of EMD noises. Back in 2019, 905 routinely ran down to the New Smyrna yard and back to Jacksonville, usually picking up about 60 cars for the northbound run. It was the regularly scheduled weekday version of 900. This was not the case today, however, as I dumbfoundedly watched 905 accelerate north, leaving both the engines on the ready track and a block of intermodal from Titusville in the dust. My only guess was that the railroad was planning an extra out of New Smyrna in the near future, so I was back that evening to find out for myself. I decided to camp out at one of my favorite spots, a nice long straightaway right next to the New Smyrna airport. And within no time, Priority Train 107 was rounding the curve into New Smyrna. This scene brought back a lot of memories. I used to love watching the nightly intermodal race along the straightaway, and still do to this day. Shortly after 107 was through, the approach signals did what they do best: light up on approach. Triggering the signals was, just as I theorized, a northbound extra out of NSB moving north under the sole power of some of the most iconic locomotives ever produced. This extra was a treat. Few engines look better to me than FEC SD40s, and it had been quite a while since I'd seen a pair. The icing on the cake was GP38-2 number 511, the first engine I'd ever seen with the old-school Hurricane logo. Needless to say, I was quite pleased with the evening's results. Thanks for railfanning with me today. I hope you found these FEC EMDs as fun to chase as I did.